Hello, travelers. Tara here. Today is Friday, December 9th. I'm going to be coming to you today with a quick open reading. Before I get started, though, let me make a couple of announcements. I've had a bunch of people in the past 24 hours contact me about the Akashic Records consultation, and I think some of you are a bit confused as to what it is you think Akashic Records can do or how you should be accessing them. Now, I cannot speak for any other Akashic Records readers and what information that it is that they look for when they go into the records. But my approach is one to help try to identify any blocks and restrictions that you're having in your present day incarnation, and trying to and determining if some of these could indeed be past life interferences. um Akashic Records is work done on the highest spiritual level. So people who contacted me asking me, well, they want me to access their records because they want to know if they want to be a tarot card reader. No, that's not what I do. If you go onto the website and you read about the divine gifts are not whether or not you should be a stripper or a Reiki or a massage therapist or a tarot card reader. The divine gifts are every soul is made up of an energetic divine energy. Those are your divine gifts. As an Akashic record reader, and the way I approach it is I identify what that particular divine energy is, and then it is up to you to determine what it is you should do with it. So also, if you contact me and you're like, well, I want an Akashic Records reading, but if you can't do it or you can't access my records, then I want a tarot card reading. No. People who come for Akashic Records readings, they come for Akashic Records readings. It's never an either or. And the reason why I say that is because people who come for Akashic Records readings, they've tried everything. They've tried tarot card readers, they've tried prayer, meditation, psychics. They've done everything up to and including standing on one foot facing the rising sun, holding a chicken foot in one hand and a candle in the other. They've tried everything and nothing seems to work. So in a sense, I kind of look at the Akashic Records as this is it's like their last resort. They've tried everything else. And so when people come, they are ready. There are typically no questions and there are no either ors. The consultation is simply that. It is a consultation. This is where I try to gain access to your records. Sometimes I'm not able to gain access, in which case you have to trust and respect that there are certain soul conditions in which I am not allowed to access the records. I put a post up over on my website yesterday on the blog about some information that somebody had passed on to me that another Akashic Records reader had given them. If you haven't had a chance to go over and read it, please try to take some time over. It's called the Akashic Records and Twin Flames. That may help you out a lot. Let's see. Is there anything else? I'm trying to work on my courses and get my course content all done, but I'm getting pushed farther behind because a lot of people are coming now for Akashic Records and etheric cord cuttings. Sometimes you don't need a full Akashic Records reading. Sometimes you just need a little bit of clearing up and energetic shifts. You can go over to the website and take a look at those. I've got another product in mind that I'm trying to put together right now as I'm doing all of these other things. But anyway, that's what I wanted to explain. The Akashic Records is basically a way of trying to help you, giving you the information that you need in order to find your own path. It is not to determine. The Akashic Records is not there. I don't approach it from that standpoint where I will tell you what you should be doing. I have no authority and no right to say what you should be doing. That is a path that you need to find for yourself. And it is very common for people not to know their path or their purpose. That's very normal. It is up to you to figure that out. So that's what Akashic Records can do. It can help remove any barriers and restrictions. Things like if you are if you keep finding yourself repeating the same situation over and over and over again, or attracting the same types of people and relationships and situations over and over and over again, there is probably another cause to that. And so we go in, we try to identify that. I give you that information, but then once that's done and I do the clearing for you, then the rest is up to you. There's nothing else that I can do. The rest is really up to you. You guys know I'm a big proponent of doing your own work. So anyway, I got a bunch of stuff going on today. I finally found my Venus. I cannot tell you. I've been searching high and low, and finally I had to call on Archangel Zadkiel to help me, and I found them within like 10 seconds. So, and it's funny because I had been looking at that place 10 times already and didn't see them. So we're going to do a quick 9-card reading. I have a lot going on this weekend. And we'll just see what the cards have to say. This is, I'll be back to bring up Wednesday. We're going to be having that full moon. And I'll be back to, if I don't, yeah, I'll be back before the full moon. I'll try to do a full moon reading. I don't know, because I usually like to put my cards out 3 days up to the full moon. I know what, I got a deck of cards that I'm burning. I bought them cards and I'm like, it ain't nothing but evil energy coming off of them, so I'm gonna get rid of them. And the book that went along with it. So, all right. This is a general reading. The messages will not resonate with everyone. Please don't forget that I have already posted the December monthlies. For those of you who are new, welcome. For the diehards, thank you for sticking around. But as I post these open readings, do not forget to go back and view your monthly sun, moon, and rising sign, because that may help to that may flesh out an open reading for you, or the open reading may flesh out one of those monthlies for you. I am considering doing away with the monthlies altogether, coming to 2017, and simply just doing open readings. I will let you know that by the end of the year. Well, the Knight of Cups just flew out. So let's see what's happening here. This is general. In order to gain any insight on what's happening in your particular situation will require a personal reading. Please go over to the website. It has everything you need to know about the readings. You can click on the little eye that comes up in the right-hand corner. That will take you directly over to the site, or you can go to the About Box section and find the links to my Tumblr, Twitter, the private Facebook group, as well as the website. All right, here we go. So we can see the Knight of Cups flew out. 9 cards down. Ah, the moon. Well, what does that say? The 5 of Swords. Huh. The 7 of Coins. The 2 of Wands. The World card. Now we are still in the shadow phase of Mercury retrograde. We're coming up on the end of Saturn and Sagittarius, thank goodness. We have Mars in Capricorn right now. And then at the end of the month, we're going to have Uranus going direct. We will be all the way into, I think, October 2017 of the Jupiter in Libra transit. King of Wands, 6 of Pentacles, and the Page of Wands. Well, with the overall energy of the devil. Okay. Now, for those of you who are new to the channel, the tarot is divided into 2 sections. There are 22 cards known as the Major Arcana. These are our spiritual lessons. or lessons of the higher self. And then we have what are known as the pip cards. These would be our numbered cards like the 5, the 7, the 2, as well as our court cards, which are kings, queens, pages, and knights. In this spread, I have 2 major arcana cards, the moon and the world card. The moon represents just that, the moon, one of the luminaries. And then the world card, and this is interesting because these are 2 Saturn cards here. The world card represents Saturn, and the devil represents Saturn. And basically, these are restrictions. These are limitations. These could be our own self-undoing. It could be self-sabotaging behaviors. It could be fear. It could be, lots of times it can be ego. But it is also those associations or those situations in which you feel stuck, okay? I can say on one hand that for some of you, there are some, in a sense, outside restrictions. There are some differences of opinions that have come up. There may have been arguments and fights. The swords represents thoughts, beliefs, perceptions, ideas, communication. This card is also known as the, you won the war but lost the battle. Is it really worth fighting over? And it looks as though what I have in the center is the 2 of Wands. And the 2 of Wands represents a choice. For some of you, something may have occurred back in March of this year for you. And maybe at the time, you did not realize the significance of whatever this choice was or this decision, but now it is coming back into play. And the reason why I say that is because I have the 2 of Wands here in the center, and that is our focus card. And as you can see, this gentleman or this figure is faced out towards a harbor or a bay. He's holding the world in his hand. One hand, he has one wand and another. Now, the wands represent your ambition, your desires, your go-get-it spirit. This will sometimes show up in business. But as we can see, there's a choice. He can either continue on the way that he's been doing and try to attain all that he seeks, or he can turn around and do it a different way. It represents Mars and Aries. And that, again, as I say, that would be March 21st through the 30th, around that 2-week period. For some of you, maybe earlier. For some of you, maybe this don't resonate at all. But basically, the 2 of Wands is about recognizing that you don't have to do things the same way. And that's strictly up to you. It becomes a choice. Okay? You have 2 paths before you. And so you're being tasked to try to figure out which way do you want to go? Do you want to continue on in the vein that you've been doing, or do you want to do something new? Now, the way the cards are read are past, present, and future, past, present, and future, and then the interplay of the cards. Now, the Knight of Cups has presented himself. He flew out first. And the Knight of Cups represents a water sign, mostly for Pisces, but it could be any water sign, which would be Pisces, Cancer, or Scorpio. If this is not a person, then this is simply an energy of something having stepped forward and having presented to you. The cups basically just deal with emotions. Most people look at it like it's only love. No, it's emotions. And obviously, this would be something that perhaps would be quite attractive to you. You are contemplating it. But the thing about the Knight of Cups is that it is sometimes an offer that is not fully fleshed out, or it may have been an offer that was presented, but it hasn't gone any further yet. We see that he has wings on his helmet, and these wings are representative of Mercury. So this could even be some kind of news. He has wings at his feet. Now, what's interesting is that those wings are related to Mercury, but at the same time, we see this horse paused in mid-stride. It is not the horse of the Knight of Wands or the Knight of Swords who comes rushing in. This is something that is a message or some type of offer that has perhaps been slow in coming, or it has been presented, but it hasn't moved forward just yet. Something very slow coming in. The moon represents deep emotions. It represents fears. It can represent secret emotions. It represents the subconscious, your intuition. And maybe this is why we see this knight who has slowed down, because there's something kind of unseen or something that might be a bit scary about whatever this offer is. And this has led to perhaps arguments, people trying to one up or get their ideas in, and has indeed led to some type of separation, if not in the physical sense, then in the sense of maybe there's no longer any communication between the two people, or they feel that they will never be able, their ideas are never going to mesh. We see that this has been weighed up. Now, the Seven of Coins is all about waiting for the harvest to come in. And this is, I've put in all of this work, I've done this, and now here I am. I have a new element that has introduced itself. So what do I do with it? Okay. Now I can see perhaps for some of you, this indeed may have been a job offer that has come in. Here we have the King of Wands, and the King of Wands represents typically a fire sign. It's going to be a Leo, a Sagittarius, or a Leo, or Aries. Typically, the King of Wands is an entrepreneurial type of person, someone who may run their own business, who is full of creative fire and passion and ideas, but may not be all that good at the actual doing of it. So this could be someone who likes to delegate things, someone who's very proud, who's influential, highly sexual, is well aware of their sexual charisma, and able to kind of gather everybody on board and line them up to get them to do what he wants. He's typically the real leader kind of a guy. Okay. This could even be someone who like is an athlete or has athletic abilities, full of fire. Whatever this offer is, we see that it's being weighed up. I do feel that whatever the offer has not been fully fleshed out. Maybe some of the details are missing. The coins represent the actual physicality and the doing of the work. God, I forgot to start that. So there's something that's already done and completed, and maybe there's one more thing that needs to be done with this Seven of Pentacles. We've gotten the idea, or we've gotten wind of it, and we're kind of waiting for it to develop further. This could be literally a business partner trying to go into business with someone, and you've been courting them, and they keep kind of like flitting around you like a butterfly, but they won't commit. Well, that's the Knight of Cups energy. The Knight of Cups will come in and offer you, but he's not good on commitment. He's going to waffle on that. Perhaps this is what the moon is. We don't understand why that is. We can't seem to get any type of clear indication on what the issue is, why the person won't fully step forward and go through with whatever it is that they're, obviously looks like something that's pretty good. And so now this Two of Wands in the center could simply be someone trying to decide whether or not they're going to fool with this person anymore, or whether they're going to turn around and take their options and move it on over someplace else. Here we have the World card. And the World card says kind of right now, you see the person is in the wreath, and the wreath offers some kind of peace and protection, but nevertheless, it is still representative of Saturn. Now, the World card is the last major arcana in the tarot, and it says you're at the end of a cycle. So what this could be signifying is that if you've been waiting on news from someone, perhaps in a work endeavor, it may be about to come here, okay? But there's something else that needs to be done. uh, because ostensibly what we'd like to see is we'd like to see the Fool card, the Zero card. That means that you're free. All the restrictions have been removed, and you are now free. But because it represents Saturn, that means that we're still kind of stuck um, in this space, and we haven't come out yet. It doesn't mean that anything's bad. This card typically represents that everything is okay, but it's sometimes that energy of just not being able to go ahead and clear things off your plate that can be most frustrating. Now, this card could also be dealing with travel. I have seen this card sometimes show up as world travel. It is known as the world. So it could be that maybe you might have to travel overseas in order to seal the deal, or whatever the case may be. It looks as though it might come down to maybe money. Maybe there's something written in the contract that is not acceptable. What we're looking for is something to be balanced and fair. Now, as you can see, we have three people on this card. The person in the center is the benefactor, so to speak. He is the philanthropist, so to speak. But here he's giving one person everything or all, and he's not giving the other person anything. The other person is completely being ignored. So this is about the balance of give and take within a relationship. If you're out of balance with that, then you need to look at, are you receiving equal to or close to what you are putting into the situation? And if you're not, take a look at why that is. And you may need to go back to the negotiating table and try to rework whatever that thing is. And it looks as though, if I'm looking at these three cards, there's some type of, it could simply be that this is a situation in which someone may have gotten burned before, like in a business deal, and they're kind of hesitant to perhaps step outside of their comfort zone. They're allowing fear and unknown things to dictate what direction it is that they move in. But it really does have to do with the balance of give and take here. And if this is you in the center and you're the one who's been doing all the giving and the giving, well, what are these two people putting back into it for you? And if one person is receiving more than the other, then you need to take a look at why that is. Maybe you have been in a position where you've been doing all of the giving and you're not being valued, or you're not seeing, quote unquote, a return on what it is that you're getting, no matter what that is. The coins are not always necessarily about money, but it is literally about, maybe you're always doing things for people. You're always helping people out. But then when you need something, you can't depend on them, or they have some kind of excuse, or they half-ass do it, or they grumble about it, whatever the case may be. I do see here that we will be having a message to come through. Now, this is what the pages always bring messages. Now, so do knights. But this is a message that I think is going to fire up the engine for this to move forward. What is most perplexing is this devil as the overall energy. That is a perplexing part. So I'm going to take a look at that devil. And I feel that for some of you, whatever this argument or this difference of opinion or beliefs is, that's going to be rectified in some way, shape, or form. And the page, and this really also speaks to a spiritual journey. It could be that maybe there needed to be some lessons. Anytime we see the major arcana show up, it is about spiritual lessons, emotional lessons, psychological lessons being learned. And I think at some point that this in a way will rectify itself. Now, whether or not, I guess it would depend, would it not? Whether or not this does reach a positive final resolution I guess it's going to depend upon what that devil's speaking about, huh? Let's go to the cards here, to the Sibilas. You know, what's interesting, I don't know if this is, I have three court cards, and these can be representative of three people. I usually see the Knights as an action or a situation, an occurrence or an event. This can represent a person. If this is not, typically it would represent someone in their 20s or 30s, but it could also represent someone who's rather immature in an emotional sense. This guy could be someone who is, can be very overbearing, always wants things his way, can be a real attention seeker. And this person can be someone who's highly impulsive, both in action, deeds, and words and thoughts. And the reason why I'm bringing that up is because I have the three figures here, the dog, the moon, and this crustacean. Then I have three people in this card, one person and two people walking away. Then I have this card, one person in the center giving, receiving, somebody else not getting squat. And then I have this devil and two people being chained at the base. Now, I think I did the reading yesterday, and we had the devil show up as well as the Hierophant here in this position. And this could, I don't know, it kind of reads like it's a business deal to me. That's not to say that it is not cannot be a romantic situation, but because of the wands and the coins, it reads more like it might be some kind of and not necessarily a business deal, but some kind of deal where maybe someone's trying to figure out how to bring everything together, and there's been some opposition and they can't quite figure out how they're going to bring everybody onto the same page here. Excuse me. It could be that two of the people involved in the situation may have some ugly history with each other, or some type of karmic connection. We're gonna read on that devil. Or you can't do the deal without the third person involved in it. For some of you, this may play all the way out until, I'm going to say, maybe February. And the reason why I say that is because we've already gone through the time of Taurus and Leo and Scorpio, and this is the sign of Aquarius, and I think that rules, what is it, January, February? And I would say that indeed that might be so, because we have the Mercury retrograde, which ends January 27th, 28th. But still, it leads me to wonder what this devil is all about. Capricorn, Saturn and Capricorn. It could just be a transit. Capricorn is ruled by Saturn. So it could just be speaking to some kind of transit that comes through, like right when you think that, yes, this is going everything, then there might be some other kind of block or restriction that presents itself. If that is the case, because it's the devil, it's going to be something that perhaps you missed, that you didn't see, but that maybe your intuition was telling you that might crop up and become a problem, and you just kind of maybe brushed it off. All right, let's take a look at what the moon's trying to tell us. Ah, Alanamika. A letter and the letterato. Well, this is the woman who acts in secret, the rival or the enemy. This is communications, a letter or document of some kind. This could be anything from divorce papers to child custody to property. And then the letterato, the man of science. This is the discovery, someone trying to maybe, I guess, maybe an offer has been presented and this person, maybe you're trying to, like I was saying, if this is a business, let's say you're in business with someone and maybe now you want to sell that business, but you own the business with this person. You and this person did not get along. So maybe there's been an offer put forth and you either haven't heard from this person or you've heard from this person and you're not quite liking what you're here. There seems to be some disagreement here, most definitely. Let's take a look and see what that Five of Swords is all about. And maybe this is not the letterato on top of the moon. Maybe this is simply fear of what the person's going to say. I think the most pivotal card is this King of Wands because of where he sits. He anchors the spread on the past vertical column, but he is the first card out on the future row. This is our vertical future column here. And I'm looking at the knighting here. It's like this king is ready to get this over with. But there's obviously something that someone's not agreeing to. They're not liking it. They're weighing it up. And they may go for it, but it could be at the very last second that person comes up with another, like there's another amendment to it or another condition to it. And you might think to yourself, shit, I'm never going to be able to get rid of them. So goes to that card. Fair and equitable treatment. See the scales? And we are in Jupiter and Libra. Jupiter and Libra. Jupiter and Libra. I can't even talk. Okay, so let's see here. Let's look at what the Five of Swords is trying to tell us. Because in one respect, it says that there's already been fighting over this. And somebody feels as though they've won, but really there are no winners in that situation. So this could really be about going back to the table and renegotiating, but recognize that you don't have to renegotiate. You don't have to approach the situation in the same manner in which you've been approaching it. Maybe that might be the issue, is that you got to figure out another way to do it and get everybody on the same page. And that can be hard sometimes. Ah, the precious presence. So this looks like it is having to do with money or property or gifts. This is a card, gifts that are not unselfish. So it kind of appears like what the card is saying is, look, I've already done this. I've already done X, Y, and Z. I've already done that. And I think that was a pretty good deal. Well, and the house is upside down. And I don't read upside down cards. So this very well could do with property. Not just property. This card kind of looks like a bank to me. So this might be bonds, stocks, IRAs. It could be anything, really. And look at that. And the deck is not upside down. The conversation, these negotiations have not been friendly. They are completely upside down now. That's what the card's saying. Right side up, this talks about a security and a safety. Well, now that shit's kind of up in the air. Okay? It's kind of up in the air. And nobody's talking to each other. That's quite interesting, and I don't read upside down cards, and it's very rare that I have Sibilas that present themselves reversed. But there, you see it and you have it. Let's take a look at what this Six of Cups, Six of Coins is all about. Because in one respect, you see the king is faced towards the past and he's got his back against whatever the Six of Coins is representative. It's as if he's saying, look, I'm so done with that, and I'm just going to go on back and do whatever it was that I was doing. And maybe it could, I think this could be two people who are perhaps very stubborn and don't wish to relinquish whatever they need to relinquish to see this through. The Vedaval. Chained to the past, someone. I feel that this could be both people involved in this situation. Both people trying to, and this is what the devil can be all about. It is about things that chain you, things that bind you, those things you had together in the past, or those things you worked on together in the past. And now that it's time to do whatever it is you're supposed to do, nobody can relinquish those things. This is not always about being tied to another person. It could be being tied to material things. That's what the devil represents. He represents the material plane. So this could literally be someone fighting over a house, or fighting over a car, or fighting over artwork, or fighting over furniture. It could literally just be something as simple as that. Those are the things that tied them together before, but now the bonds are supposed to be broken, and no one wants to relinquish their position of power in the material sense. The happiness of the heart. Well, what this is kind of saying to me is that, and this does speak to someone who's chained to their past, okay? But there's a happiness here in some respect, and we have the Doctore. Now, the Doctore is always a professional. He's going to be your doctor, your lawyer, your accountant, your psychologist, your proctologist, your, I don't know, whomever. This is going to be the person who can help you solve this. And that might be why we have the guy in the center. But what is holding everything up is that someone is afraid they're not going to get anything. Something's going to go all to one person and the other person's not going to get anything. Just looks like a petty argument. I mean, not petty. It depends. You know, it could be substantial amounts of capital and property involved. But, you know, sometimes it's easier just to let that shit go. I know that's easier said than done, but sometimes it is. It's not worth the headache. You can spend, you know, and you've seen those kind of divorces where people are in court and they are fighting for years. Years they're fighting, you know. I'm like, really? Just go on and get a life now. Okay, let's see what the devil has to say. The Gran Signore. The L'amante, male lover. And the Ammalato. Now, to me, it kind of reads like perhaps someone is having a difficult time relinquishing the idea that they are no longer the lord of the manor and the lover. That there are also some kind of, it could also be that that's really what I'm getting. And that, in a sense, it's a kind of a blow to the ego. Remember, I was saying this guy could be someone who's quite egotistical. It almost reads like the person feels that though they've been demoted in some way. And this could be about a demotion, okay? But it is all wrapped up in the material sense, you know, and basically, you know, if this is what ties you up from stepping out, you can change that. Why? Well, first of all, it's time. It's trying to help you to come in and release. and you don't have to do things the same way that you've been doing them before. This is about some kind of freedom coming about, but you're going to have to change the way that either you think, you feel, perhaps maybe that you can't get out from under whatever it is you can't get out from under. That's a perception. And if you recognize that it's just a belief, an idea, perception, then maybe that can help you do some releasing and moving forward, because what I have underneath is the Ace of Cups. So this is a brand new, fresh start. Sometimes you got to tell people to take the shit and get the hell on. Why? Because it's just shit, and you can always get more shit. Okay? You can't buy happiness and peace of mind. You can't buy that, you know. You can always buy another TV set or another car or another whatever the hell it is that you're fighting over. But you can't buy, you know, peace and tranquility and emotional fulfillment. You can't buy those things. And if you've been using material things in order to do that, well, here you are. You know, those things that you own can truly, truly be like stones around your neck. All right. I'm going to, didn't even need the Endo-Venus with those today. So let's see, for those of you who did not have anything answered for you, for fives, that's a changes, that's sevens, that's outside influences, an internal struggle. What do I have? I don't have any repeater cards, which kind of tells me, you know, you're I think that whatever this is, you'll be able to work it out, but you're going to have to view it from a, you're going to have to release some things, you know, and be content with that. Because really, there's no price on freedom. It really isn't. And by that, I mean, not just where you're perhaps free from the person who's been like the monkey on your back, but that once you're able to relinquish those ties that are holding you back, there's a freedom in that, you know? And really, it is up to you to be able to cut those chains. It's not going to happen all over on its own. Now, look, I've been saying to you that this card has been coming up a lot. And what I've discovered, and what I said was, for those of you that there wasn't an answer for in this angel answer card may answer it for you. No. Wait, because there are two no's in this particular deck. I was looking at that the other day. Oh, come on. Where is it? Here it is. And which one is this one? Okay, it says, the response to your inquiry is a firm no. You needn't worry, though, as you will see why this was the perfect answer as time goes by. I don't know what that means for you guys. That keeps coming up. Let's see what's underneath the deck. Well, look, the one that came up yesterday. Wait, and that's what the card just told you. It just says, as time goes by, you will see why. You will see why. It says it's a firm answer to whatever your inquiry is. This is odd. But this card underneath the deck says your situation is going to require a little patience. Your angels are not saying no, but they are saying not yet. So in one, it's like it's a twofold situation. It's no to one thing, but yet it's kind of saying that there's what you are asking for may have an effect on the lives of others. When that occurs, it can take additional preparation to make sure that everyone's needs are seen to. Be patient so that all who are involved can have the experience they're meant to have. Remember, I was saying before, it's kind of like you're trying to get everybody on the same page, but you kind of realize deep down that you're not going to be able to get rid of one thing. So you're going to have to try to figure out how to bring it all together. It's kind of like that. That's such an interesting, and this card says, perhaps that it could be successful, but then this is also about arrogance. I don't know. We'll just see how this plays out. Definitely something going on around the full moon. I hope this helped you. That was really interesting. And until next time, namaste.